Welcome everybody to another round of World of Tanks subscriber replays. My name as always is Maxwell, and today's first video is from the user Talking Gibberish. That's Talking Gibberish, and he's driving the Centurion 7-1 on a standard battle on the mountain pass. And the Centurion 7-1 being the tier 9 medium tank for the British. So going to be heading off to the northern area. Mostly this is where you get the heavy tanks trying to secure this area. It's you sometimes get one. Well, the light tanks obviously like to get here first to get the spotting damage, to get the spotting of whoever comes around the enemy's northern point. But you don't tend to get that many medium tanks taking this route. Unless the medium tanks want to try and get into the central valley first. As you can see, that Leopard 1 there making a beeline for that central valley. That's not generally a good place for the mediums to hang out though, as they can get eliminated pretty damn... well, there you go. T-62A taken out immediately there. So anyway, back to Talking Gibberish. He's made it here with only taking a shot in the tracks for 0 damage. That's pretty good, and he's going to have to square off now against this Indian Panzer. Luckily, he's got that T-71 there with him. Now, normally when you're talking about a light tank, you don't say luckily. Having a light tank as backup generally isn't too good, but the amount of damage that a T-71 can kick out, as you are no doubt going to see in the next replay, it can be quite extreme, the amount of damage that those things are capable of dishing out if they are able to. So they've got quite a sizable force here. As you can see, he's got an IS-3 there with him, then another IS-3, an IS-7, and that ISU-152, all making a beeline up this northern flank. And so far, all they've seen here is this Indian Panzer and the E-100. So this may be a little bit of a whitewash if they can get their skates on. Got a good bit of damage through the turret of that Indian Panzer. I think he's looking at the IS-3, so Gibberish is going to have an easy time of this one, especially if he doesn't get targeted. Indian Panzer doing the best he can, just trying to use the age-old tactic of shoot, drop back to a secure location, shoot again, drop back again. But unfortunately, pokes himself out a little bit too far and gets taken straight out there by Gibberish, becoming his first kill. E-100 doing a fantastic job of side-scraping there, not really going to be able to get any damage on him. As you can see, gets a little bit of, well, gets some critical damage on his side armour, onto his tracks. Although he's doing a good job of side-scraping from Gibberish here, he's not doing a fantastic job from the other guys who are coming in on the right-hand side there. As you can see, taking a horrendous amount of damage from the rest of the guys. And angled that armor all wrong there, so going to be taking damage all day long through that side armor now. Really definitely not angled in the correct way there. If he'd been a little bit smarter about it and angled a little bit better, possibly could have survived a little bit longer than this. Not taking too much damage though, as the C-100 is still definitely tough. He does have a good amount of hit points, but that is the attackers all done now, and that is the way to the enemy base all dealt with. Because they only sent that Indian Panzer and that E-100 to deal with the northern flank there, which definitely isn't enough. So the Allies able to push through pretty quickly there. But as you can see, the rear guard action's turned up now. There's a Bat-Chat and a 5120, and the combined firepower of those two would be more than enough if they can catch them unawares to see off the attackers here. As you can see, they've already managed to take out that 152 there. Bat-Chat just making lines in a hull down position across here, but not quite quick enough, and Gibberish able to get a bit of damage through his turret there. Bat-Chat probably just circling backwards and forwards until he's reloaded. And then a 5120 comes into view. 5120 is able to kick out a tremendous amount of damage, but realising that the Centurion will be fully reloaded now, and there we go. Centurion able to take him out with only taking a very small amount of damage in return. And then the IS-8 picks up the Bat-Chat from the rear. So it was kind of a double flank there. The enemy flanked around behind the attacking allies there, and then got flanked themselves by that IS-8. So the game's still fairly even at 10 kills to 9, so this could go either way. It all depends on if the enemy can get enough defenders in towards their cap circle quick enough, as the Allies have a good amount of tanks here. That IS-8's actually doing the smart thing, if you check the minimap there, and dropping back to try and deal with that E50M, who has just taken out their artillery. And it should just be one more hit to take out that T11, but no, it looks like he's backing off smartly, and the WZ doing the same thing. So because they've got the base cap going now, the attackers are just backing off slightly because it's not necessary for them to push anymore. Ooh, very unlucky to bounce on that WZ-120 there, although he was trying to go through a thick part of the turret. Hopefully this one can finish him off, although Talking Gibberish does take some damage in return there. And as you can see, that IS-8 should easily make it back to the base to decap that, hopefully, if he's got a decent amount of hit points. Can we see his nameplate? No, we can't, so we don't know how many hit points he's got, but fingers crossed it should be enough to decap. Enemy just basically trying to keep the Allies here pushed back a little bit. Oh, and the E5 gets himself eliminated. Although he should now form some good cover for the Allies. The E1 here comes in to try and deal with the situation, but he doesn't realise that he's not going to get through that armour of the Centurion, and then the Centurion just mops him up and he becomes kill number 4. So a little bit of a foolhardy rush there, got his track taken out and then gets himself eliminated. So we've got a duel with this 152 now, who's just taken out that IS-3, which leaves a second IS-3 who's way back. I'm not really sure what he's doing back there, because he's oh, this'll be a sneaky shot for kill number 5. But yeah, I'm not really sure what that IS-3 was doing all the way back there, because there's not really, I mean, he's got 1,000 hit points and there wasn't really much he could hit from all that way in the back there, and with his superior armor he probably should have been further up the field. So the IS-8 didn't quite deal completely with the E50M there, getting himself taken out, but it looks like the E50M started to make a beeline for his base, as the Allies here have started the base capture. Talking Gibberish just decided that he's not going to let this one finish with a base capture, and just gets a bit hungry and goes and tries and takes on the 120 head on. To be honest, I probably wouldn't have done this. I probably would have just sat in the cap circle and waited for the enemy to come to me. But as it is, he's obviously got a brass pair of bollocks, because he's just decided he wants to go charge out and try and take this guy out. Almost gets himself eliminated there for his greed. 37 hit points left. This IS-3 reckons he can get round before the WZ's reloaded. He can, but he doesn't get any damage through, and there we go. That is kill number 6 for Talking Gibberish there. So finally gets his Top Gun medal. To be honest, I would have just gone and capped rather than try to eliminate them, because that E50M, if he's got a decent amount of hit points and gets some good luck, he could easily take out the Centurion here. And let's have a look. Yeah, he could probably take out that IS-3 with 1,000 hit points as well. So the two of them just going to head to this cap zone, hunker down, and wait for this E50M to show himself and see if they can do something. And there we go, comes into view. He's only got 390 hit points left, so a good roll from shot from Talking Gibberish, and he could become kill number 7. In fact, the IS-3 gets a good hit through his armor there, takes him down to 27 hit points, but he just rushed the shot a little bit there. Didn't know if the E50 had been reloaded or not, so just rushed his shot then. Unfortunately bounced on the turret, so he's just going to switch to HE rounds, because even if this one bounces, the explosion of the HE round should be enough to just take off that last 27 hit points. But it looks like the E50 is just not having any of it. He's not going to be a fool and rush in on an IS-3 and a Centurion, and indeed the IS-3 finishes him off in the end, and that is a victory. So getting a little bit gung-ho at the end, a little more gung-ho than I would have done, but it all worked out, and he picks himself up a good 6 kills in a tier 10 match. So awesome replay there from Talking Gibberish. Thank you very much for sending that one in, and as always, the score screens are coming right up. And our second replay of the day is from the user Luca Melish. And that's Luca Melish, and he's driving the T-71 on a standard battle on the live Orcs. T-71 being the T-7 light tank for the Americans, and I did allude to the amount of damage this thing's able to deal in the last replay, and you're going to see just how much damage this thing is able to kick out. So on to this this replay is going to be heading all the way down the right hand flank, trying to take up a good spotting position with this T-71. Going to be trying to get some eyes on the advancing enemy. As you can see, coming out on this little peninsula, as there is a little bush here that you can generally get into. Not opting to go for the passive scouting route, just deciding to put some shots straight through the face of his fellow T-71 there. Probably not got sixth sense here with this tank, so he's going to have to play this one a little bit carefully. Playing as a scout without sixth sense can be quite difficult. You see somebody deciding to have a shot there, but not really able to get any damage onto him. So he's got a T-43 as backup here, and should be able to get some eyes on this M6 and maybe lay some damage down on him. But it looks like this other T-71's been able to take him by surprise while he was looking in the wrong direction and put a shell straight through the side of his turret, which was enough to kill the gunner, although he can still see the enemy T-71 and see that he's taken his gun off target. Although he's not getting greedy. That's one mistake some people will make, is if they get shot by someone, then they'll make a beeline for them and try and get some retribution, just feeling that they are owing it to the other tank, and then generally that can lead them into a bad situation. They'll go a little bit too deep, a little bit too far, and get themselves taken out or get some serious damage on them. So just deciding that he wasn't going to be able to get any damage on that fellow T-71, so just decided to leave it alone. Although he probably can get some damage on this Type 59 as he backs off. And no, just leaving the two of them there. As I said, he hasn't got sixth sense, but he knows he hasn't been spotted just from the simple fact that he hasn't been shot yet. So we're just going to sit here, let his binoculars kick in, and just spot some of these guys for the Allied artillery to take out. So a little bit of a slow game so far, but don't worry, it does pick up later on. Just going to be doing what a scout tank should do, which is spot. Did see that the Type 59's gun swung onto target there and pointed at him. So you don't necessarily need sixth sense if you can see the enemy tanks. Obviously somebody's gun swinging onto target is a clear indication that you have been spotted. Although Luke just deciding to relocate here, as you can see that T-71 is now in on their base, and all they've got there is that AMX-12T, which dropped back to do the defense work, but that's not going to be much of a match for a T-71. So Luke going to be doing what he can to try and take him out. And he's just dropped back behind the hill, so hopefully this 12T should be able to finish him off and pick up the kill. And there we go, the 12T is able to finish that one off. Although it does look like the northern flank has been absolutely obliterated by the enemy. As you can see, they are currently winning at 10 kills to 5. But he can see an opportunity here. This Su-122-44 stationed under the bridge. He's got full hit points. He's going to be looking in the wrong direction, and this should just be an easy kill for Luke there, picking up his first kill of this match. Artillery comes in, but it's nowhere near close enough. Hummel already raging in the chat about this being a noob team. Probably just because he got himself killed because he got spotted by light tanks. He's going to be putting his last rounds into this Lerva, and that is kill number 2. Straight through the side armour. Nothing he could have done about that. So that is the great thing about a light tank, especially a light tank that can kick out some damage, is you're able to get onto flanks and rear of the enemy without them. Sorry, I was just reading the chat there. Especially if you're able to get onto the flanks and the rear and kick out some good damage, you can definitely appear in places where the enemy aren't expecting you to be. Not sure why this AMX-12T decided to hang around the spawn location there, but it looks like the T-25AT just decided to ram him and set him on fire, and that is their only base defender eliminated now. But Luke able to totally take him down there from almost full hit points with a full clip there. But most of the enemy tanks will be coming from that northern location. You can see that IS-3 making a beeline for the enemy base there, which is a good idea, as this Tiger II can march forwards, present himself as a target for the attacking enemies, while the auto-loader of the T-71 can pile damage after damage into the attacking enemy tanks there. So you might notice that he was facing in a weird direction there. The reason you want to do that with a light tank is because your armor is so absolutely pathetic on all sides, front, sides and rear. It doesn't really matter which armor you present to the enemy. What you should always do is keep the front of your tank pointed in the direction that you want to run in case everything goes wrong. So the best thing to do obviously is have your front armor pointed in the direction of your escape, and that way if you ever do need to make an escape, excuse me, if you ever do need to make a mistake, then you're already pointing in the direction. You will have that extra agility and that extra acceleration just to get away from the enemy's shot, hopefully before it lands. So they haven't quite evened up the score as of yet, but they have managed to stop the bleeding, picking back a few kills. It's now 13-10 as that IS-3 gets himself eliminated in the south there. Tiger II still doing a good job of keeping the enemy spotted and making himself a target for the enemy. One mistake that some light tank drivers do make is they think that because they're a light tank they need to be at the forefront of the battle, and that's true when you want to spot the enemy, but in situations like this you definitely want to let somebody like the Tiger II, who has the hit points and has the armor, take the lead, and you sit in a more distant location, especially when you can kick out the amount of damage that the T-71 is able to kick out. So should be able to get this T-29, and there we go. T-29 becomes kill number 5. So now really all the enemy team has left is this ISU-152 and 2 artillery, and the last place the 152 was spotted was all the way in the south there. So really they have managed to swing, although the enemy has 1 extra tank, that's 2 artillery and 1 tank destroyer. So the Allies are definitely in a better position here, although the ISU-152 fires that giant cannon and is able to take out the Tiger II in no time whatsoever. And to be honest, with 1010 hit points, I don't think he's got enough ammunition in the clip to be able to take out the 152, and indeed he hasn't, especially because one of the shots bounced. So he's just going to make his escape, run around the houses, and just try and get away from the 152. Because he's almost certainly going to be reloaded at this point. Now he does a nice little move here. He drives all the way around here and then spins himself around when he knows that he's going to have faded out of view. He knows he's faded out of view because the ISU has faded out of view as well. So he headed around that direction to make the ISU think that he was going to be coming from that angle. And hopefully, when he crests the hill here, the ISU is going to be looking in the wrong direction. And indeed he is. And just 2 shots should... Oh, he's able to take out the track. That's excellent shot there. 1 more. Nice reflexes. He's able to pick up kill number 6 and his Top Gun medal. The artillery lands a little bit ineffectually, and now it's just going to be a case of hunt down the artillery. So he's got 500 hit points left, so he's not really going to be able to take a direct hit from either of these 2 guys. So he's just going to be hunting for the last known locations of these artillery. But I mean, even with these guys being SPGs, then it's still going to be... It's not going to be clear-cut that he's going to be able to take 2... Sorry, I'm just astounded by what I've just read there. The GW Panther has decided to drown himself. So rather than go for the victory and help the Hummel and his team and try and get a win out of this one, the GW Panther has just decided to drown himself rather than try and fight this one out. But to be honest, if the 2 of them had just gone for a base capture like this Hummel had done here, they possibly could have picked up the victory, or at least covered each other off while the base capture happened. So there he is there in the pond. Absolute disgrace there. 1 for driving artillery in the first place, and secondly for just taking the coward's way out and drowning himself. As you can see here, the base cap's up to about 50%, so if both those artillery could have made it into the cap zone at the same time, probably could have got a victory out of this one. As it is, just trying to light up this Hummel, and once he does, there he is there. Nothing the Hummel can do about that. He did everything absolutely right. He was just let down by a, well, by a poor team, to be honest. They won very handily in the north and then just led it all away by attacking in drips and drabs afterwards. But not to take too much away from Luka Melish, because he played an absolutely astounding game there in the T71, picking up a massive 7 kills. Should have been 8, but the GW Panther there was an abject coward and just decided to drown himself. So, awesome replay from you. Thank you very much for sending that one in. Don't forget, guys, if you've got yourself a good replay, send that into the usual address, which is replay@screenreality.com, and send any questions to question@screenreality.com. Both of those can be found in the description below. So thanks very much for watching, everybody. This has been World of Tanks. I have been Maxwell, and I will catch you guys next time.